Hey everyone, welcome back to Soundwave Legends, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of music and the artists who've shaped it. I'm Alex.
And I'm Jordan. And today, we're diving into one of the most heated and exciting debates in music history. Who is the greatest music artist of all time? You know, it's funny, man, because whenever you talk about the greatest of all time in anything, whether it's basketball or stand-up comedy or, in this case, music, it always turns into this subjective thing, right? Like, what are your actual criteria? What makes someone the GOAT?
Totally. And if we're talking about influence, how do you ignore the Beatles? I mean, they didn't just make music, they completely redefined what music could be in the 1960s.
Exactly! They were doing things no one had even thought of.
In the span of about 7 years, they went from I Want to Hold Your Hand to Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. That's like two different worlds of sound, right? It's insane.
Talk about evolution, man. They were writing those catchy pop tunes and then boom, psychedelic experimentation. It's mind-blowing when you think about the sheer range they had. The Beatles were like this cultural phenomenon too. It was Beatlemania. Teenage girls losing their minds, the haircuts, the clothes, they influenced everything.
I mean, think about the impact they had on fashion, on hairstyles. They were trendsetters, man. They were pushing boundaries musically and culturally, and that's what makes them such strong contenders in this debate.
And their songwriting. Lennon-McCartney. That's like the ultimate songwriting duo. They were cranking out hit after hit, and their lyrics? Pure poetry, man. They could write about love, about heartbreak, about society, you name it. And their music still resonates today, which is incredible when you think about how much music has changed since then. But you gotta admit, the whole King of Pop title isn't just hype, right? Michael Jackson was a force of nature. He transcended music. I mean, the guy was like this global icon.
But then you have someone like Michael Jackson. His cultural influence was just as massive. Not only did he push musical boundaries with Thriller, but he also redefined what it meant to be a performer.
Dude, Thriller was like this game changer for music videos. Before that, music videos were like these afterthoughts. And then Michael comes along and creates these mini movies.
The dance moves, the music videos, the fashion, it all became part of the global lexicon. Thriller is still the best-selling album of all time, and Billie Jean and Beat It were complete game changers in terms of production and sound.
And the thing is, everyone was trying to copy those moves. The moonwalk, the anti-gravity lean. You couldn't go to a school dance without seeing someone try to pull those off.
It's true, he set a new standard for showmanship. It was insane.
And you know what else gets me about Michael? The dude was putting out these albums that were like sonic masterpieces. The production on those tracks was next level. Quincy Jones, man. He was working with the best in the business, and it showed.
And those melodies? Forget about it. You could hum along to any one of those songs even if you didn't understand the lyrics. It was pure pop genius. Chapter 4.
See, that's what I'm saying. These artists who can tap into something bigger than themselves, who can make you feel something deep down, that's what makes them legendary. It's like they're tapping into some universal truth. Pauses, thinking. That's why I think someone like Beyoncé has to be in the conversation. People like to call her the modern-day queen of pop, but she's so much more than that.
Beyoncé is a whole other level, man. She's like this powerhouse performer, an incredible singer, and a savvy businesswoman. She's got it all.
The way she blends genres, pop, R&B, rock, hip-hop, and the way she's redefined the idea of what an artist's responsibility is in terms of identity, politics, and culture. Just look at Lemonade. That album wasn't just music, it was a statement.
Dude, Lemonade was like this visual album, this exploration of black womanhood, infidelity, forgiveness. It was raw, it was powerful, and it sparked so many conversations.
Exactly. And she did it all while maintaining this air of mystery. She's very private, but when she speaks, people listen. She's in control of her narrative, and that's so important in this day and age. Plus, her work ethic is insane. She's always pushing herself, always evolving, and that's what makes her so exciting to watch.
Chapter 5. Kendrick Lamar, weaving tales of race, identity, and the human experience. And that's what I'm talking about. Artists who aren't afraid to push the envelope, to use their platform to say something meaningful. Kendrick Lamar is another one who comes to mind.
Yeah, and Kendrick is a perfect example of this. His album To Pimp a Butterfly is one of the most important albums of the 21st century, not just musically, but in terms of its cultural significance. That album was like a sonic masterpiece, man. The way he blended jazz, funk, spoken word, it was like nothing I'd ever heard before.
He's weaving together history, race, and modern life in a way that feels deeply personal yet universally resonant. He's not just telling a story, he's elevating the conversation about what it means to be Black in America and to be an artist in this time. And his lyrics, so dense, so thought-provoking, he's not afraid to tackle the tough topics, the uncomfortable truths. He's making you think, man.
And that's what makes him so important, right? He's not shying away from the difficult conversations. He's forcing us to confront these issues head-on. He's using his music as a tool for social commentary, for self-reflection, and that's powerful stuff.
Chapter 6. Prince, the Purple One's undeniable genius and unwavering authenticity. See, that's the thing about music, right? It can be entertaining, it can make you want to dance, but it can also be so much more than that. It can be a tool for change, for healing, for understanding.
And speaking of revolutionizing sound, how could we not mention Prince? The way he blended funk, rock, soul, and pop, he was like a one-man genre unto himself. Dude, Prince was a musical genius. The guy could play like every instrument under the sun. He was a master of his craft.
He redefined what it meant to be a performer, not just with his music but with his unapologetic persona. His live performances were legendary, and his stage presence. He was electric, man. You couldn't take your eyes off him.
And he was so funky. Those guitar solos, the dance moves, the whole vibe, it was just infectious.
Prince was all about authenticity. He was himself, 100%, and he didn't care who liked it or not.
And that's what made him so cool, right? He was unapologetically himself, and he didn't care if you liked it or not. He was a true original. He was this androgynous, flamboyant, incredibly talented musician, and he owned it. He challenged gender norms, he pushed musical boundaries, and he did it all with this undeniable swagger.
Chapter 7. The Enduring Legacy, a timeless debate with no easy answers. It's true, man. And that's the thing about this whole greatest of all time debate. There's no right or wrong answer. It all comes down to personal preference, to what moves you, to what speaks to your soul.
Thoughtfully. You're right. Some might argue that an artist like Stevie Wonder, who fused soul, pop, jazz, and even electronic music, has a claim to that title.
Stevie Wonder is a legend. His music is so joyful, so full of life. And talk about a musical innovator. He was using synthesizers and drum machines before it was cool.
Or someone like Miles Davis in jazz, whose career spanned multiple musical revolutions. But when you think about the greatest artist of all time, I think it also has to be someone who stands the test of time, who influences generations. And those are the people we're talking about today.
Miles Davis was a true innovator, man. He was always pushing the boundaries of jazz, always experimenting. He was a true artist.
And that's what makes this conversation so interesting, right? There are so many incredible artists who have shaped the landscape of music. It's impossible to narrow it down to just one. It's like comparing apples and oranges. They're all so different, yet they all share this incredible ability to connect with people on a deep emotional level.
Outro, your turn. Who's your GOAT? Yeah, it's a tough question to answer, but I think we can both agree on this. Whether it's the Beatles or Michael Jackson or Bob Dylan or Beyoncé, each one of these artists has left an indelible mark on music and culture. Their influence transcends genres, their music stands the test of time, and their legacies will continue to shape the artists of tomorrow.
Well said. It's almost impossible to crown just one. But maybe, in a way, the true greatest artist is the one who speaks most directly to you personally. The one whose music has been with you in your highest moments and your lowest. Because in the end, isn't that what music is about?
Absolutely. And we want to know what you think. Who do you think is the greatest music artist of all time? Let us know by sending us a message or tagging us on social media. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Thanks for listening, everyone. And we'll see you next time on Soundwave Legends.